If we were gonna make it big, we would have done it by now. We're in our 30s.
Welcome to Fanboy and the Snob. I'm Chad.
Nah,
This is Chris. And
nah.
today we're talking about Saving Private
The
Ryan.
most upbeat war movie ever made.
I have never seen it, and it put so much shock on his system that he forced me to watch it.
It was one of those movies I saw when I was a kid that fucked me up.
You wonder why you're the way you are.
I know I am the way I am. I see the world with fucking what this movie did to me is I hate doing this. I hate how I always talk about how like my childhood, I'm important, but fuck it. Um, yeah, this movie was kind of an eye opener. Everyone jerks off about World War II, and then you read about it, and you're like, oh wow, and then you listen to the people talk about it, and you're like, okay, and then you watch things like this and Band of Brothers, and they're pretty much as close as you can get to what it was like, and you're like, oh, yeah, no, it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't cool. It's not what they say. It's not those fucking John Wayne movies. He doesn't walk into a room and the Nazis surrender. No,
There's
it's
no triumphant music going on.
no music, just people screaming in pain as they're getting shot. It's fucking horrible.
Now, what beach was it at the beginning of the movie?
They were on Dog Beach. So Omaha was the big one. That was like the big one. Um Dog was Army Rangers, and they were kind of like supposed to get the armor, the tanks on the beach and stuff like that. And as you saw in the movie, it didn't quite work out.
Now, imagine just going on a boat, everybody's throwing up around you, everybody's all nervous. You open the hatch, drop the thing to storm the beach, all of a sudden just...
Like the bullets are hitting you before you hear the sound because
Yeah.
they're moving faster than the speed of sound.
Ugh.
So you just see like meat flying in every direction. And then it's like, jump over the side. And then it's, oh, the 80 pounds of gear I have is weighing me down.
So desperately trying to take it off as you're getting shot underwater.
Yeah. That whole, all right, so the movie opens. Yeah. As you can see, the D-Day scene, despite being made in 1998, still fucking holds up.
Yeah.
It still holds up. But so the movie begins with an old man walking through a bunch of graves in France, in Normandy, because Normandy has their own like Arlington cemetery. Because obviously the French, Canadians, Americans, and Brits stormed the goddamn beach to liberate France, and like I think
Well,
they
way of being respectful towards them.
50% losses. Like half the guys who stormed the beach died. Like. Oh, and the worst part is like the Germans defending the beach were new recruits, children mostly, and veterans from the eastern, like the main German forces were fighting Russia. So all the guys that were getting cycled back, they were like, "Here, defend this beach in France. Don't worry, nothing will happen." And then fucking like teenage Americans charge the beach, and teenage Germans have to fight. It was kids versus
Ugh.
kids. It was brutal. It was kids and old men versus kids and old men. It was horrible.
I love the squid packs and everything they have in
Oh
this
my
movie.
god, the practical everything. The
I
bullet.
hate CGI blood.
You turned to me and went, "Holy shit, the sound is
Yeah.
like you were like, those sound like real guns." Like
And just even like the little scene of a guy falling off something, you hear like this faint little
but
the
just
legs breaking.
the pop,
Yeah.
and then when it hits you, like the impact sound.
Ugh.
But yeah, so this old guy like walks up to a grave and starts crying, and like his 90s family is being super respectful. Whereas if it was, whereas if we were joking about this, if it was modern day, it'd be like two TikTok Zoomers like, "Grandpa, I don't give a fuck about World War II."
No, it'd be the girl filming them, and then you have like a super voiceover TikTok that was like, "Look at this grandfather crying."
It would be the girl filming him like this, like, "My grandpa's sad." Like that's what she would be doing.
Ugh,
And then the son would be TikTok dancing in the background or watching Fortnite videos.
No, you just do that, and you have like the dancing Deadpool around
Yep.
him.
And the millennial dad would be watching The Mandalorian on his phone, and the woman would just be completely absent of thought because they don't think anymore. Um, yeah, it would just be bad. It would be bad. Instead, it's a 90s family that understands, like, "Hey, Grandpa, you killed a lot of people, and a lot of people died to keep you alive. So we're going to let you have this moment." And so it does a slow zoom in on his face as he starts crying. And yeah, it cuts to the beach, like you said.
Yeah. Oof.
And
This might be the most brutal opening to any movie ever made.
it's right up there. It's like right up there.
It has like while the movie opens this brutal,
Showing you hundreds of people dying.
like limbs flying off and like.
Can describe the D-Day scene, because everyone's seen that the D-Day scene has even been parodied by South Park, the Imagination Land episode. Yeah, like, so you describe it the way someone who's never seen it before but seen all the parodies.
So, like I said, the hatch opens, the bullets start flying. Then it goes into the perspective of Tom Hanks, where he's just like ears ringing, everything's just kind of going by him. And all of a sudden, you see everybody around him just dying, all the people underwater getting shot. Like, ugh, it's the bullets going through and everything. And you have that one guy. Was this the scene or was it? Yes, the scene where he's like looking for his arm and he picks it up and just walks away.
What about the flamethrower with the two guys behind it?
Yeah, it blows up.
Yep.
Fuck that.
Lights. What about the one landing craft when the door drops? It's just on fire and everyone tries to run out.
Yeah, and they're not dropping into the water. They're just running onto the beach, so they're just like in shock.
Yeah. What about the dude who gets his leg blown up by the artillery?
Yeah, I can't imagine that feeling of like that's like when you were listening to like the Boston bombing people.
Yeah.
All the guys, they're just like, I look down, it's just like, ugh. I can't even picture that.
I YouTube that stuff all. I love hearing people talk about tragedy. I don't know why. I love listening to 911 phone. I don't know. It's a fucked up thing I do. I think it's because of that moment where you're like, you put yourself in their shoes and you're like, how would I handle like storming the beaches at Normandy?
I don't know if like I feel like I would have a moment like Tom Hanks. Then I would have to like
where your brain shuts down and you're just kind of like you realize like, oh god, this isn't normal. We shouldn't be doing this.
Then I just picture you kicking me. Get the fuck up, fatty.
Well, there's the one guy. What do we do now, sir? And the fucking
imagine he was a teacher in the movie. Imagine just being a teacher and being like, oh, you command all these kids.
Well, the best part is you don't know he's a teacher until like 2/3 of the movie in.
Ugh.
Yeah. That oh god, my liver. God, this movie's a bummer.
I can't even imagine like walking through that, hearing somebody go, "Mom, mommy." I'm like,
what about the one guy who's laying with the fucking? He got the artery wound in his shoulder, and he's just screaming, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die! I'm gonna die!"
The effect, like there was a scene where the guy got shot when he had the canteen.
The canteen.
He gets shot. A little bit of water spurts out. Then it's just all the blood from.
Yeah, and then you see him start patching his own. Like, God, Spielberg. Like the attention to detail in this movie is amazing.
It must have been so hard. Like everything going on, trying to be like, all right, you're doing
balance
this.
All those extras. Yeah.
It's not like fucking
Avengers, where you can just have a bunch of CGI monsters and it doesn't fucking matter.
The fucking extras in the James Bond movie, the guy's just like sweeping air.
No, that was the third Batman.
Was it?
The extras where Batman's fighting him and Batman doesn't even throw a punch.
No, there's a James. I'll show you later. There's a James Bond one of an extra. He's just like he's
yes, I know exactly what you're
like.
Yeah.
It's like, and Spielberg had to go up to every single one of them and be like, do this.
Okay, you do this, you do this, you do this, or Spielberg and his many secondary directors,
the henchmen,
because like it was a massive project. It was a massive project. Everybody's in this too. Yeah. Everybody of that.
This is definitely one of those '90s movies where you watch it and you're like, they all had careers.
It's all yeah. You see a bunch of people who wind up getting careers, and then you see a bunch of guys who are just like veterans of the scene, like Ted Danson and Paul Giamatti.
Ted Danson's so cool. I wish he was in the movie more.
But his character was perfect.
Like him and Paul Giamatti had nice little
not even a cameo. They had scenes, and the scenes were perfect because they are amazing actors. Underutilized.
I definitely would be Paul Giamatti. My fucking back hurts. I feel like an old fucking lady.
Fucking walking like an old lady here in the middle of a fucking combat zone.
That'd be me. My fucking carpal tunnel's acting up. I can barely pull the
trigger.
The
guy runs up to him and he's like, "You want me to find? Where should I look for Ryan?" "I don't know, moron!" And he like slaps him on the head. "Just fucking find him."
The fucking scene when he just sits there, he's like, "I gotta get the shit out of my boot." He just knocks the wall down.
And then everyone, the Americans and the Germans, are
so lucky that the guys were on the top floor.
So we have to explain the plot of why they're trying to save Private Ryan.
All right, so the plot basically is mother lost 3 children. There's 4 children.
4 Ryans.
she lost 3, and they're like, all right, she can't lose another one.
and
We
it's
have to rescue
the
her.
youngest is the last.
Yeah. So like we have to save her baby.
And all 3 Ryan brothers died within a week of each other. So
Yeah.
she's about to get 3
letters.
3. Well, when a soldier dies, they give you an American flag folded in the triangle.
God.
So she's about to get 3 memorial American flag triangles to be like, your kids are dead. You know, they died for us.
Yeah. Thanks.
So a thing about the American military is after the Civil War, there was a family with Abe, like during the Civil War, where all 5 kids died, and Abe Lincoln had to write 5 "Hey, your kids are dead" letters, and then he kind of made it a thing where it's like, we're never doing that again. Yeah. You know, like never again. If 3 kids die, we're getting the 4th out. If 2 kids die, we're getting the 3rd out. Ugh. You know, like we're not doing that ever again.
That must be crazy too, going in together, being drafted, having to go to different training camps and all that, and being deployed at different spots.
Well, that kind of happened to my little brother when he signed up for the Marines. Him and a buddy signed up, and the buddy wound up going to tank school, and Robbie wound up going to aeronautics school. And it was just, Robbie was on this coast, he was on that coast. He wound up going to Iraq, Robbie didn't. You know, it was weird.
Can't even imagine if your brother went to Iraq.
He would have done fine because he wouldn't have been in the front lines. He was like a mechanic, like electrician guy. So he wouldn't have gone out on patrol. If he was there now, I'd be super fucking angry because our commander-in-chief is a very competent leader. Anyway, back to Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, so basically Tom Hanks is told by his commanding officer that he needs to take his like 8 best guys, I guess. Well, it's him and then 8 other people, so like 10 people.
Yeah.
Right? No,
I think it was
8.
Yeah. It wasn't that many.
A squad to his best guys to go deep into Nazi Germany or Nazi France and find Saving Private Ryan, or save Private Ryan, and bring him back.
And oh god, I would have fought tooth and nail not to do this.
They all did, but at the same time, you listen to the captain.
It's like even Tom Hanks was like, it's like finding a needle in a haystack.
It's finding a needle in a needle stack, is what he said. But if Saving Private Ryan earns him the right to go back home, he'll do it. Because for every 1 guy he loses, he saves 1,000. That's the way you gotta rationalize. That's what I like about this movie. They give every character like, it's a 2.5 hour long movie, and it's an ensemble. It's 8 characters, but every character gets fleshed out. You understand every character's motivation. It's such a good.
And you feel bad when, spoilers, Vin Diesel dies.
You feel bad when all of them get fucked up. You feel bad for every.
That Vin Diesel scene was fucked. It was
just like brutal.
I feel like it was him being like, guys, it's too fucked up. We need to save, because in the scene, there's like a French family, and their father's like, take my daughter, save her, and everybody's like, no, put her back.
Cap is
screaming. Diesel's like, but we need to do one decent thing.
Reminds me of my niece. I can't put her back. The least we can do is take her to the next camp.
So Tom Hanks like grabs the kid, and all of a sudden he's standing there just.
And you hear the shot after he got hit, which is key.
That was cool.
Because the sniper, as soon as he hears the snap, goes 450. I know, and then like that's where I'd be, you know, and sets up the shot, and then Caparzo's laying on the ground, and he's like, "Why aren't you trying to help me?" You know, and they're like, "Just stay the fuck down."
That's another thing. Like, imagine just trying to be calm and being like in so much shock. You're like, "Why are you guys just sitting there?
Just fucking help me! Just fucking help me! This letter, it's from my dad."
And the sniper, of course, goes and sees him, scopes out who he's trying to talk to.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden he turns, sees the American sniper, and
you see him flinch. Then you hear the shot, and then you see it go straight through the fucking scope and blow the guy's head up.
Did this movie win awards for sound?
This movie won a lot of awards.
Yeah. They had to win for sound design.
Yes, this movie's sound design is brilliant.
Special effects, sound design.
Best actor?
Yeah, Tom Hanks probably won it.
Best supporting actor. Tom Sizemore, the guy who plays Ryzen, the guy with the bar. He was really good. Fucking Barry Pepper was really good. The sniper. Fucking
With the fucking Hebrew hammer. Yeah, his real
Hebrew
name.
Hammer was really fucking good too.
That fucking scene.
Right? I think we did that at the same time. Welcome to Saving Private Ryan. Is we start talking about how great it is, and then you go, oh, because you remember the depressing scene. But yeah, so they're fighting in this weird town, and Caparzo goes down, and Barry Pepper blows that fucking sniper's head off, and then Cap goes, and that's why we don't save children, which is very fucked up. But yeah, then
you're just gonna get the kid killed faster.
Basically, yeah, you were just gonna fuck everything up. Then Tiny Dancing Man, Ted Danson, basically. Tom Hanks is like, hey, you got anything for anything equivalent to a 3-star hotel, with soft pillows and clean sheets? And he's like, we got an old church. So,
and Tom Hanks goes, oh.
Yeah, so they sleep on the ground in an old church. Everyone's amazed that the sniper can just lay down and go to sleep, considering his job is to look at someone and kill them, whereas everyone else can just kind of shoot
blindly.
Yeah, his job is to physically go, you're dead, and kill them. So they're like talking about that. The medic is trying to transcribe Carpazzo's
death note
because it's covered in blood. Cap is talking to Tom Sizemore about this one guy they served with at the beginning. He used to pee on everyone's back. V for Vincenzo, but he said it was V for victory, I swear. And he died really early on, so they're talking about how like, oh, he was so funny, what happened to him? Ooh, he died in Africa. Oh yeah, that's right. Fuck. And then Cap reveals his whole like philosophy of like, if one of mine dies, it means 1,000 of someone else live. Like he does that whole thought process.
Who was the dude's name who was collecting the dirt? Because I thought that was really cool.
That was Tom Sizemore. That was Sarge.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. He had like 4 jars in there of like all
Italy,
the
Africa, France.
And then he has to go out.
Yeah.
He's always sad when he gets hit. And like Black Hawk Down, he was in the movie we just talked about before.
He gets shot in the neck and he was like, motherfucker.
Every movie he's just like, fuck, and he keeps going and everything.
Yeah. He plays a really good soldier.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like he plays the same character in every movie, but he plays it different. So it works.
He was good. So this is about when they go down to the thing. We're gonna skip ahead a little bit.
I want to talk about the mama stuff.
Okay.
Where the guy with the bar starts talking about how like his mom was super like worked all the time and was always busy, but she always made time for him and shit like that. And then the medic tells this story about how his mom would come home from work and all she wanted to do was talk to him, but he would pretend to sleep. And he goes, don't know why I did it.
We've all done it.
Yeah, I know.
You know you've done it before.
Oh, I've done it 100 times. But in that moment, I was like, fuck, I don't know why I did it. Like, as he's explaining it, you're like, why did I do that?
Yeah, as somebody who's lost a parent, it's definitely
the moment where you're like, yeah, why did I do that? Yeah. Anyway, so it's the next day, and they're walking, and they stumble upon a couple dead GIs.
Now, is this when they get... I was going to skip ahead to the...
This is the radar dish.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So they go up they find a bunch of dead Americans, and they're like, what the fuck? And then they notice there's a machine gun nest up at a damaged radar dish. And Tom Hanks makes the decision to attack it. And his idea is like, if we don't attack it, someone else is going to stumble upon it, and there's a chance they could get ambushed and die. And then the rest of the team is going like, we have to save Ryan. Why take an unnecessary risk? And it's like, well, it's so someone else doesn't have to.
Yeah. And
they get into a big argument. Eventually, they wind up going along with Cap. We forgot to mention Oppum.
From was he?
The nerd.
Oh, yeah. Who's a translator?
Yeah. So after they successfully storm Normandy, and it's super brutal, and they execute prisoners, and there's the cool flamethrower scene and all this stuff.
Basically, his translator died, so he has to go up to the other faction.
He goes up to like the press corps and be like, hey, I need someone who can speak German and French. And Oppum's like, I can. And he goes, all right, get your gear. And Oppum like
grabs a Nazi helmet by accident.
Yeah, he grabs a fucking typewriter.
Tom Hanks was on point with everything he said in this movie. He's like, oh, souvenir?
And he puts on the real and then he grabs the typewriter out of his hand and throws it, and he's like, you won't need this.
He hands him a pencil.
Yeah, this is who, Yeah.
I just imagine them like 100 of those little like Kino pencils in their backpack.
Oh yeah. And they shave them with a knife. You just take a knife
Mm.
and sharpen it. Yeah.
I always sucked at that. Remember those pencils, like the weird, like flat kind of ones?
Those ones are easy. You just go whoop, whoop.
Oh, I sucked at it.
All right. So anyway, they're storming this machine gun nest, and everyone's not into it. And there's like scene where they throw a grenade and the German catches it and throws it back.
Yeah.
And you were like, is that? You were like, is that? And I was like, yeah, that's how grenades work, man. You can do shit like
I'm an
that.
idiot. I don't fucking know.
You
about
only know them
grenades.
from video games.
Yeah.
Understandable.
It's like I thought you throw it, it hits the ground, impact makes it blow up.
Nope, fuse. That's why you cook a grenade before you throw it.
Oh, I thought that was just to make.
Nope, you cook it. You go 1, 2, and then when you throw it, it'll explode on impact, hopefully. But yeah, they were just throwing them. The Germans were catching them, throwing them back. Then the Americans would catch them and throw them back. And it was a really risky game of hot potato.
A fucking tennis racket.
Well, it's like at the end of the movie when the Germans were throwing in the potato mashers and the Hebrew Hammer was just picking them up and tossing them back out.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
Fuck. Imagine so stressful. It like hit him in the chest too. He's like, fuck.
Fuck, and just tosses it. Like he doesn't even grab it. He just kind of puts his hands on it and throws it. Yeah.
That's what I would do. I wouldn't try to get like a firm grip. So,
Yeah. So they managed to kill the machine gun nest. But Wade, the medic, the one who told us the story about sleeping through his mom trying to wake him up because she worked third shift.
And he's the fucking medic. So you gotta put it
He's
this
the
way.
medic.
He is on the ground. He's like, he has his head like this. He's like, how bad is it? And he tells him like the 4 things. And in his head, you know, he's like.
Then he goes, feel for an exit wound, and there's I only feel 1, which means 3 bullets are still inside him.
That was when he was like, fuck.
And that's when he's fucked. And then they flip him over, and he kind of gets a good look, and he goes, "Oh fuck, my liver."
And they're like, "What can we do?"
What do we
you?"
do?
He's like,
What do we-
morphine.
Just give me. And that's when you see it in Captain's face. He's like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
And they all see it too, because like everyone's like. Ugh. And then Tom Sizemore hits him up with the morphine.
2 of them.
And then he screams, "I don't want to be here. I want to go home, mama, mama."
How fast would the morphine hit you if you were injected with 2
Instant.
of them? Instant. Yeah. Ugh. It's so sad.
Like you ever been in the hospital and you hit the morphine button? It's fucking instant. Yeah, so he screams for his mom and dies. And then that makes a little mutiny happen. The sniper and the guy with the bar the guy with the bar decides not to follow orders.
Bar's a gun.
BAR, Browning automatic rifle.
Just for people that don't know, like me.
It is. It's like
it's like the coolest looking, like.
It's the prototypical LMG. Like before the MG4 and the M4208, whatever. The saw, the big saw, like like on the top of the Humvees and Black Hawk.
Yeah.
It's the precursor to that, pretty much.
Cool.
Because Browning made like repeaters back in the cowboy days, and then he was like, "Why don't I just make a machine gun?" And then it was like, "Okay," and he came out with a bar, and everyone was like, "That's humongous." He was like, "I know.
I'm making it for The Rock.
I'm making it to kill everybody. Like, it can kill everybody. 25-round magazine, bullets this big, just fucking rips people apart."
But what's the dude's name?
Ryzen, right? Because it's Ryan and Ryzen.
Yeah, Discount Ben Affleck.
Discount Ben Affleck.
So basically, he goes against Cap. He's like, "What the fuck are we doing this? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
We're
It's
getting our guys
your
killed.
fault. Caparzo and Wade are dead.
We didn't have to come do this. Blah blah blah."
Yeah. I'm walking out, and then that's when Tom Sizemore grabs him, throws him, and is like, "Fall back in line." And he's like, "Fuck you!" And then Sizemore pulls a gun on him, which makes the sniper pull a gun on Sizemore to be like, "What the fuck's
and
happening?"
while all this is happening, Tom Hanks' guy, Captain's just walking.
He's
back.
not even facing them.
And you have like the dorky translator guy be like, "You're just gonna let them do this?"
Yeah.
And this is when Tom Hanks reveals his identity. Because the whole movie they have a bet going on.
We skipped the whole prisoner of war scene.
Yeah.
That leads up. No, because the prisoner of war scene's important. So after the medic dies, they realize one of the Germans they were fighting survived. So they beat the shit out of him.
Oh, yeah.
And they make him dig his own grave. And then he begs for his fucking life.
Well, that's kind of what led to the mutiny.
He tries to sing the national anthem. He talks about Betty Boop. He says, fuck Hitler. And they're not having it. And eventually Upham convinces the captain not to do it, so
Well,
they let him go.
Well, the scene started out because you had the translator guy offering him a cigarette. They're bullshitting. Then all the troops walk up and they're like, he's like, oh shit, he starts digging again. That pisses them off that he stopped digging. He's just bullshitting.
Yeah, so they drag him out of the hole. He runs back in the hole and starts digging. Then he realizes, oh shit, this grave is mine, which makes him drop the shovel and just start pleading for his fucking life.
Yeah.
And then the captain has him realizes what he's doing, and he lets him go, which makes Ryzen mutiny, which makes Sizemore pull a gun on him, which makes everyone start freaking out. And then to get everyone to calm down, Captain goes, "What's the pool on me?" And they're like $300, and he goes, "I'm a school teacher from Iowa."
This was a perfect situation. Like everybody's just lost in that
thing focuses them.
Just fucking saying all this to like bring them back down to earth and everything. It was a nice little scene.
And then he goes, and I like the line where he goes, "Before the war, when I said I was a school teacher, everyone said, yeah, that makes sense. Now no one can guess what I am. Perhaps the war has changed me." And you're just like,
to my wife.
Yeah, I hope my wife can recognize. And you're just like, fuck. So before the war, he was like a nerdy school teacher guy, and then during the war, he's this badass fucking stalwart commander who fucking knows what the fuck he's doing, kills Germans left. Like, again, war changes you. So
yeah, I don't know how I'd react in that situation.
So after the captain gives his speech, everyone just kind of realizes, like, all right, fuck, if Cap's in, I'm in, kind of thing. Tom Hanks was a better Captain America than the past couple movies.
Chris Evans did a great job.
But Tom Hanks did a way better with the speeches. Because Captain America is like 50% speech, 50% sponge.
I don't blame Chris Evans.
I don't blame him either. I blame the writers. I'm just saying. No one was blaming him. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks's Spielberg's Captain America was way better than.
Well, the biggest problem is they jumped right into fucking Winter Soldier after the first movie, so they didn't have time to see the inspirational Cap until Endgame.
I know, but it's funny that Tom Hanks is like giving a speech about being a school teacher.
I want to get like really good at anime and just put him in the costume.
Yeah. Then what happens after that?
That's when they all go and they go to the camp with.
They find the rally point. And the guy, the glider pilot, talks about how they put 2 plates of steel at the bottom of his glider and didn't tell him until after takeoff, and then he was struggling to keep the plane in air.
Yeah, he's like, I almost broke my arms trying to steady it.
Yep. And then
imagine that much like fucking pressure where you're trying to pull up.
And
would it be pulling down? It'd be pulling down, right?
Well, yeah, you'd be pulling towards you to keep the nose up.
So imagine doing that and having to steady, so your arms just
your arms are like
locking in place and everything.
And then the B-52 towing you cuts the line, so now it's 100% up to you to keep it level. Yeah, he nosedived, crashed. Grass was wet, so it slid. 27 guys died in his glider, all because a general was on it and they wanted it to be better defended.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah. So he's like, I didn't have a chance. I didn't have a chance. And he's like trying to like explain. Cap's like, it's okay, man. It's okay.
And then the other people are like, yeah, all that for one person.
Yeah. A lot of that going around, huh? Is what Ryzen says to Cap. And it's like, what I liked about this movie, this rewatch, is I was paying attention to Ryzen's character, and he like has a really good arc.
Yeah.
Where he learns to not be so selfish.
Yeah, it was at the end when you finally see him next to Ryan being like, I got you, bro.
I got you, buddy. He finally gets it after watching all his friends die and watching them sacrifice themselves for each other and stuff like that, that he finally gets like, oh, we're all in this together. It's not just about me getting out. It's all of us.
Ugh.
I'll die to make sure you live. That's like his character's arc.
Yeah. Whew. This movie's heavy, dude.
Heavy.
So this is pretty much where they find Ryan, right? Or is this before or after?
Dog tag scene.
Oh, yeah.
That fun scene.
All right, so this is the scene when basically they're still trying to find Ryan, so they grab the bag of dog tags. It's like
because it's of the 101st Airborne. Ryan was in the 101st, so they're like, let's go through the dog tags to see if Ryan's dead.
So there's a scene of them all trading through them and everything, and they're just kind of bullshitting, laughing. Then all of a sudden, what was it, the translator?
No, it was the medic.
The medic was dead. It was the translator who came over and grabbed him. And he's like,
Fuck, we're out of order. No, it was totally Wade. Because remember,
Really?
he makes Ryzen sniff the leg to see if it smells like cheese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're out of order.
So I was right where we were.
Yeah.
But this scene was fucked. 'Cause then you see like the whole infantry.
You
just
see
walking,
like the injured 101st walking by.
seeing them.
Fucking
toss around
Ryzen
dog
picks
tags.
up a dog tag with a bullet hole in it, and he goes, "Look at this poor bastard,"
Mm.
you know, and like
Let
they're
me
making a mockery of it.
Shot him right there. Bro.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And then Wade comes over and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then Cap even has like a handful, and he realizes like, "Oh, that's 15 dead people in my hand," and he.
Yeah.
So then he goes out into the middle of the airborne and he starts screaming like, "Ryan, Ryan, Ryan, Ryan!" You see his guys looking at him like, "Oh, fuck."
This is a very lucky
Yeah.
thing because this is pretty much where I think he was starting to really lose it.
Yeah.
Because you forgot to mention the whole movie he has these shakes.
Yeah, he's got these shakes. And there's a fun theory online that the reason he has the shakes is because of alcoholism.
I don't think so. It's
that
fucking nerds, dude.
It wouldn't have fit with his character at all. His
No.
character wouldn't be an alcoholic based off the stories he tells. And
He's
stuff.
a fucking school teacher and he's thrown into this shit. It's nerves.
So it's nerd. Like he,
like
but it-
the first time you see him, he freezes,
yeah.
and it's like, oh shit.
It isn't until he realizes like I got to take care of these people that he like comes back.
Yeah.
Like what is he saying in the church? I've lost 95 people.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being responsible for 95 deaths?
And they did a cool thing. I don't know if it was just a video we were watching where they have like the lens flare type thing.
They were no,
going
that
up.
was part of the movie. Whenever it gets to like such an extreme,
It doesn't seem real.
yeah, they put the like ethereal quote unquote filter.
That was cool. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah. Yeah. So they figure out that Ryan's defending this bridge in oh shit, it begins with an R. Anyway, he's defending this bridge with some like ragtag cobbled together like group. So then they head to there, they fight the machine gun nest, they win, they lose Wade, they keep fighting. They get to the bridge, they run into Ryan, and they're like, "Okay, dude, let's go." And he's like, "Nah, I'm not leaving."
Yeah, because at that point he's been with these guys for how long? His team?
3 years.
Yeah, so it's like I'm not just gonna leave them just because I'm the only fucking brother left.
Yeah, he says, "Tell my mom I died with the last brothers I have left," which is fucking
Dramatic as shit.
heroic as shit, you know, Medal of Honor kind of tier. So Cap is looking at his like remaining 5 dudes, and he's like, and they're like, we might as well stay. Let's fucking defend this place.
Stay and defend the fucking bridge.
So they set up a really cool like defense strategy. They make like impromptu sticky bombs,
So cocktails.
Molotov cocktails. They set up a 30 in the clock tower, a 30 over there, a 30 over there. They got fucking mortars that they can use as grenades if it really
cool.
comes down to it.
I like how Tom Hanks didn't know you could do that. That was cool.
Yeah. So the plan is an entire division's coming through. 4 tanks.
50 people. He said he saw around 50 people.
Well, in the first group, and then 50 in the second, and then 50 in the third. Basically, they're fighting off like a big group. It's like 50 of them versus like 500 of them.
Ugh.
And they do it. They use guerrilla tactics to win, which is
Unused now because there's no point in sending people out for guerrilla missions anymore.
Yeah. Unless you're the Taliban, then you can take over Afghanistan super easy. There's no point in guerrilla tactics. They just won a 20-year guerrilla war. What the fuck are you talking about? Vietnam, Korea, it's all guerrilla tactics.
Civilized.
We invented them with the American Revolution, and then we stopped doing them because civilized war. Anyway, you can cut all that out.
Leave me alone.
That was such a stupid statement.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I was saying more it's a technical war of like drones and stuff.
Yeah, for us.
I thought the Taliban war was just like run and shoot, take it over.
Guerrilla.
If it guerrillas.
Hide and strike when you can. That's what a guerrilla war is.
Fucking
Not real guerrillas, dude.
Oh, it would be more exciting.
It would
They've
be
had
terrifying.
really big guns.
You saw that movie Planet of the Apes.
I like the new ones. Fuck you.
I think my favorite was Planet of the Apes, Kenosha. And I really liked Planet of the Apes, Milwaukee. That was pretty cool. Planet of the Apes. What was the other city they burned?
I quit.
You know I'm right.
Have you seen the new 3?
Planet of the Apes?
The newest ones.
I saw the one with Woody Harrelson. That was the only one I
That
saw.
was the last one.
That was the only one I cared to see, and it sucked.
It wasn't bad.
It was dumb.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
You didn't like fucking
I like that
Commissioner Gordon?
I like that Circus was getting work. But other than that, I didn't care. What's his name? Anthony Serkis?
Yeah.
He played Caesar. Did you just shatter it? You
Patty did to hers.
Oh yeah, so where did we leave off?
They found Ryan.
Oh yeah. So they decide to yeah, so after Ryan says, I'm not leaving the bridge, Cap and his crew say, all right, fucking fine. So they put the sniper up in a bell tower. They put the Jewish guy with a machine gun. Opham's going to run ammo. And then Cap and Ryzen are going to defend Ryan.
Mm.
And if all else fails, retreat to the Alamo and blow the bridge.
I like how the whole time when Ryan would try to do something to it, just pushing him
They're
down.
shoving him out of the way. Like, just fucking stay in your hole.
The guy's like literally pinning him to the ground. Ryan's like, get off me, man.
So they're just kind of hanging out, smoking cigarettes, listening to music. And then you hear the marching and the tank treads getting louder and louder and louder. So they all snap to. And they do the little diversion tactic. And the first tank ignores it with the first 50 guys. But the second tank decides to investigate with the next 50 guys. So they fucking do the trap. And they do the sticky bomb. And that one guy doesn't time it right and blows up.
Yeah, it was fucked. He like tries to do it, light it, run up to the tank and put it on. But then all of a sudden...
And it's really hard to describe this gunfight because it's just chaos.
Yeah.
Everybody's shooting in every direction at each other. Fucking Nazis are getting lit on fire. Fucking Americans are getting stabbed to death.
That was a crazy scene. They like run to the thing. He shoots the bullets through, which when you're shooting in there with like a metal thing, bullets just like...
Yeah.
Then the guy tries to pop out. They light him up. Then they're like, grenade. Throw the grenade down.
That's why I was like, pay attention to the scene. It's ultra brutal. Because when I watched it with this girl I was seeing, I was trying to explain it to her, and she was like, so what? You didn't hit him if he wasn't aiming through the hole. And I was like, okay, so the outside of the tank is made out of metal. What do you think the inside of the tank is made out of? And she was like, metal. And I was like, okay, so what happens when you shoot the outside of the tank? Well, it bounces off. So what happens if you shoot the inside of a tank? It bounces.
How many bullets do you think
bounces,
he shot
and he just like, so it's like, and then the one guy comes out and they shoot him in the face and drop 3 grenades in. Like that brutal.
That was brutal as fuck.
Over the top brutal. But then the 20 millimeter.
Yeah, he had the guy in the little motorcycle gun thing. Just shooting like bullets like here. Right when you saw it, it's like arms gone, head's gone.
Head's gone.
You didn't even see it like fall off either.
Yeah,
it's disintegrated.
Just got 20 millimeter cannon. It was used for anti-aircraft, but they were aiming it at people. So it's like a machine gun used to shoot down planes that they were aiming at people.
Ugh.
Yeah. So that sucks. Then what else happens? The Jew, the Hebrew Hammer, and his
other dude
run out of ammo, so they're just kind of sitting in their hole, and they're like, Hopham, is that you? Is that you? And then they shoot it, and the guy dies in the blood, but then someone else shoots through the wall, and they hit the other guy in the throat.
The whole time we're just like, you see blood going. And
blood spraying out as the Jew and the Nazi are fist fighting and choking and biting each other.
Yeah.
And then finally the Jew pulls the knife out and he's trying to stab him, but then he gets flipped over and the knife turned on him.
I didn't think they were going to kill him.
And he's like, no, we don't have to do this.
No,
we don't have to do this.
The guy was like saying something to him. He's like, no, I don't know what you're saying.
Just stop. We don't have to do this. And
then as the Germans stab him, he's just going,
shh. And it's the slow stab because he's fighting back the whole time. And what's Opham doing?
He's just kind of chilling on the stairway crying.
Crying because he didn't have the balls.
The translator.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rough. And what did you say? I hope I'm not him.
Yeah, fuck. I hope in war I don't fucking do that, man.
Yeah, no one wants to be an Opham.
hope I have a little more. Like,
Because even his like big like "fuck you" moment at the end of the movie
you
is
didn't deserve that.
you
Fuck
still
you.
fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
You still fucked up.
Like, there's like 10 people he just killed.
So the sniper's up in the tower, right? And he's giving
Oh,
signals.
you didn't get to the scene where the German guy walks down the stairs, just looks at him, he's like, not even worth killing.
Yeah. He points his gun at Upham, and Upham raises his hands.
He's just sitting there crying, holding the bullets, being like,
fucking the guy just looks at him like fucking
bitch ass American.
Yeah. Ugh. But then, so it cuts to the sniper. He's up in the tower. Oh, by the way, the sniper's a devout Christian. So
this might get the award for most obviously this guy's gonna die scene.
Are you sure? Because the Caparzo scene was super obvious for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he's up in the tower and he's like saying like God is my shield, I am his sword, just like fucking taking dudes out left and right. And then he looks over at the tank and the tank is just and he goes to turn to the other, get down, and then just they both die. Yeah.
He was
then,
cool.
Then it cuts to Tom Sizemore and he's running up a hill.
I just when he gets fucked.
And he goes, and his gun's empty, so he throws his gun at the German. The German's gun is empty, so now they're both trying to pull their pistols out. And he lights him up, and he gets shot in the thigh, and he manages to hop over to cover, and he's just like, motherfucker! God damn it!
It's like the scene in Star Wars where Kylo Ren gets hit, and he's like, fuck.
So then,
and everything
but
just
then
like
Tom Sizemore pulls out the bazooka and shoots out that fucking
that was cool.
That tank and blows it up.
Then the tank just goes.
That's the other one. There was
Yeah.
like 4 tanks. So they blew the one up with the sticky bombs. Tom Sizemore took out another, and then the other 2 were just fucking shit up.
Tanks, man. Whoever invented the tank.
Genius. Do you know why they're called tanks?
Why?
So when the British were inventing their armored land craft, they needed to come up with a code word and a code idea for the blueprint so that the Germans wouldn't figure it out. So they called them mobile water tanks, as in they would bring water to the frontline troops. That's why they're called tanks.
Tactical advantage.
No. It was literally, no. This isn't a giant moving gun that's armored. It brings water to people. That's a hose, not a cannon.
And one guy's like, you should put a gun on that.
No, well, it's the opposite. They were like, how do we trick the Germans into thinking we're not putting a gun on it? Oh, that's a hose. That ain't a cannon. It's full of water, not ammunition. You know? World War I was a silly war.
Yeah.
It really wasn't. I take that back. It was a horrific, horrible war, but the tactics were silly.
Well,
cavalry charge that machine gun. It'll work out.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to World War II.
They're just fucking up Nazis left and right.
Yeah. Well, the Nazis, what about the scene where all the guys are like wounded and the Nazis are running up and putting them out of their misery?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was supposed to piss me off, but I was kind of like, good job, Nazi. You know, like...
Do you think it was them just being merciful or jerks?
I think it was kind of like, kill your enemy, and I hope he would do the same for
then again,
me.
he is on the ground going like this, but if you walk by him, he happens to have a gun.
But the one dude was on his knees, clutching his chest, screaming in pain, and they went up behind him and shot him, like, in the lower spine to, like...
Yeah.
You know? So that's kind of like a mercy killing,
Maybe.
I think. And at the same time, if I was in that position, if I would want someone to do... I don't want to lay there on the ground and bleed. Just do it, you know?
Yeah. But where's the honor in that?
Well, I think that is honorable. I think that is honorable. Putting out a war, rather than letting a warrior suffer.
No, I'm saying for the warrior.
Yeah.
Like, don't put me out like a bitch.
I'd rather go out like that than on the ground screaming in pain.
Would that be counted as suicide? And would you go to hell for that?
Would any of them go to hell for whatever they did?
Yeah. Oh, that should be a podcast. I'll say that.
That's a whole other concept. Yeah, I know. This movie, dude, I told you this movie's super good. I'm glad you liked it. This movie's really, really good.
No, it was good. The actors, like if you put like nowadays actors in there,
it would suck.
With a different director.
If you did like a Jon Favreau with the Avengers cast.
Jon Favreau is a good director.
With the Avengers cast, it would be Quip Fest. Can you imagine Robert Downey Jr. trying to play Tom Hanks? Actually, I'm a school teacher.
I think Chris Evans could have. He's actually a good actor. He's trying not to.
Chris Evans could have played a good Ryzen with the bar.
Yeah. Chris Hemsworth's a good actor.
Chris Hemsworth would play Tom Sizemore.
ScarJo should be the translator.
Yeah, it'd be Oppum.
I love Scarlett Johansson.
Robert Downey Jr.'s Tom Hanks, and that would suck.
I don't want to talk about Robert Downey. I was going to say I think his career is over.
Yeah, but he made billions.
Fucking $50 million on one movie. Why would you work?
So anyway, they retreat back to the Alamo because everyone's dying and it's sad. And they have the detonator, and they're trying to blow the detonator, and then the tank shoots at Tom Hanks, and he winds up getting shell-shocked again. And he's kind of like confused. He's like, what the fuck? And then he sees the detonator, and he gets up to run over to get the detonator, and it cuts to the German that he let live. Did you notice that? It was the German.
He's the one that shot Tom?
Yeah, it was the German from the radar tower.
Yeah.
Shoots Tom Hanks in the chest.
What a dick.
Tom Hanks can't make it to the detonator. He's laying up against a car, about to die.
Pulled out his pistol, starts shooting at a tank.
1911, just pow, pow.
Then the Ex Machina moment.
And then he shoots the tank, and it's gas tank, and it blows up because that's how it worked. No, obviously the fucking plane shows up and bombs the shit out.
Fuck, really, dude?
Yeah, there's people out there that were like, no, he totally hit the gas tank, and it's like that's.
Gas tank wouldn't.
Yeah, that's not. It's not a.
It would just be a...
I mean, it's a movie, but it's not a movie, you know.
Yeah.
So the tank gets blown up by the planes, and then you just see like, hey, want to know why America's super into its Air Force? Because you just watched the Air Force bomb the shit out of these.
How hard it would be to hit targets like that.
Best part is the bomb's super big, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, something to be precise though.
Also,
at least with a tank.
Also, it's your job is to hit that little thing.
You're super angry.
And those things only went like 300 miles per hour. So.
Oh, really?
Only 300
it's
miles.
Not like light speed?
No, it's
like
not yet.
Falcon?
I think a fighter jet goes like 900. They were going like 300.
I can't even imagine going fucking 200. Imagine that.
You've been in a car going like 150, right? It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
The worst is when you're swerving through traffic.
No, never done that. I only ever go above 100 if I have like a straight.
I have kids now, and I don't go over 70.
I don't have kids, and I don't go over 70.
Well, you're a grandma driver anyway.
I'm scared. I don't trust other people, man.
Neither do I.
Bunch of Nazis in a fucking bunker shooting down at me, and I don't have a flamethrower. This scene was so good.
Yeah.
Don't shoot, let them burn.
Yeah.
Or what about when the Nazis are running through the trench and the Americans are coming from this way, this way, this way, and that way, and they just start shooting down into the trench to kill like 10 people? Or when the two Polish guys surrender and they're like, we just do dishes, and they kill them anyway. Like, God, war was fucked up.
This is going to be a dark podcast.
Yeah.
By the way.
So, overall thoughts on Saving Private Ryan, Chad?
Are
you glad I made you watch it?
Thought it was an amusing romp. Tom Hanks.
Very lighthearted comedy.
Tom Hanks jokes were just on point.
They were actually. Tom
Hanks had great little.
His comedic timing was really on point.
Yeah, just like Robert Downey Jr.
Even when Tom Sizemore was like, how about you let me go up the middle? He was like, how about you shut up?
Yeah.
You know, like, it was very believable.
It was like you're really talking to your best friend.
Yeah.
There was a scene, like, basically he knew whoever went up the middle would probably die.
Yeah.
So his, like, friend, like, the guy who was collecting the dirt and everything.
Tom Sizemore, who's been there with him since the beginning.
Someone your size? No. He's
no,
like,
you can't run.
And he's like, why don't you shut the fuck up?
Yeah, why don't you shut up? You know?
That was great.
Yeah.
And everybody around was like...
What about the gripe scene?
Which one?
Gripes go up, not down. And then the sniper goes, sir, I have a problem with the mission. Seems God made me a finely tuned killing machine. And he's like, see, pay attention. This is how you gripe.
Like, sir, do you gripe? Not to you. Maybe above me.
Well, what if I was a major? Well, then I'd say thank you for this mission. Thank you for the opportunity. And I feel bad for Mrs. Ryan. I feel, you know, and you see like everyone start laughing. Like, yeah, like that one scene told you the exact dynamic of the group and how they were all friends.
Like the problem with filmmakers nowadays is you have like an ensemble cast, but you're like, all right, these people.
You're trying to fit people into the role.
Like, I know you don't like the movie that much, but Army of the Dead did a pretty good job at developing some of the characters.
No, Army of the Dead. Okay, Army of the Dead is a bad movie, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
But they do a good job of showing the characters being like, these are these people.
Who's the Joe Piscopo? Is that his name? When he has the freak out at the end, when he like takes over and he kills the scientist and all that stuff. He's like, "This is my motherfucking camp," or whatever he's yelling. That scene was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Army of the Dead's okay. Wait, Army of the Dead. I was thinking a Day of the Dead.
Oh, that's why I'm like,
I was thinking good. Day of the Dead's great. Army of the Dead sucks.
I like the characters in that.
Right, but the characters get their one throwaway scene, and then they just become generic gun people.
Unless you're that girl, she whooped ass.
But you know what I mean? Like, they spend this whole movie being like, this is this guy, this is his personality, and then he doesn't have a personality.
And you don't see a fucking saw gun
or anything, yeah. Whereas with Saving Private Ryan, it was like, it doesn't matter their gun or what their role is. Like, here is their personalities. The Caparzo and the Jewish guy joke with each other constantly.
I was trying to think of a cheap new movie, and that's the first one that came to my head. I can't think of that many that do like good character pieces now.
Yeah, because it's easy now. Because like, it doesn't matter. You got 4 movies to flesh the character out.
You know who does a good job at developing characters? Shaun of the Dead guy. Edgar Wright.
I was gonna.
He does a great job at like even Baby Driver. Have you seen Baby Driver?
I've seen Baby Driver.
He does a great job of showing like the characters and like why.
It's almost like
he's a competent filmmaker.
It's almost like if the character is good, you don't need to explain like this is how this character works because this happened. Yeah. If the character just acts, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
Like you figured out exactly who each character was in that scene in the field. Like you got everyone's personality and it felt organic and natural. Like it felt like a real conversation between those people. Because like they do that scene where Oppum walks up to them and he's like, "Hey, I'm Oppum." And the guy's like, "Get the fuck away from me." So then he goes up to Caparzo and he's like, "Caparzo, ain't it?" And he's like, "Fuck you." And then that was supposed to be the scene where the new guy's like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I'm this, and this is why I feel this way." And they just completely ignored that scene and instead had everyone bitching to the captain and the captain nailing it and then everyone laughing. Like that's
I like it.
It was a good movie. It was such a good rewatchable. If it's on TV, are you going to turn?
Yeah, if it's on TV, I might put it on for a background, but I don't think I'd want to sit through it. And
you'll in like a year or two, you'll be like, kind of want to rewatch that.
Yeah, it's not one of the it's not one of those movies where like next week I'm like, dude, I just saw this movie, you want to watch it with me? This movie is one of my yearly rewatches. Yeah, it leaves an impact on you. Just like Infinity War.
Fucking. Oh god! Remember that scene in Infinity War when the giant blob of gray aliens fought the giant blob of nondescript people?
Fuck you! I love that movie.
It was just like the Normandy scene.
You're a Normandy scene of my amusement.